Breyer Company signed a government construction contract providing for a formula price of actual cost plus 10%. In addition, Breyer was able to receive one half of any savings resulting from the formula price being less than the target price of $2.2 million. Breyer's actual costs incurred were $1,920,000. Thus, the ultimate question, how much should Breyer receive from the contract? All right, let's work through this. We know that the actual costs are $1,920,000. All right. And we know that they're going to get 10% on top of that. So by the miracle of math, I happen to know that 10% is $192,000. All right. So by the miracle of math here, you can see my fancy calculations that I am doing. This should get us to a number that looks roughly like this, $2,112,000. Now, you may say to yourself, well, look, I see this answer choice right here. And of course, that is on purpose, right? That's part of this. The problem is we're not done yet. So think of what we've done here. The question stem says, hey, we've got this contract. You're going to get the formula price for Breyer Company. You're going to get the 10% on top of that. That's where we're at so far. But it also says Breyer can receive one half of any savings resulting from the formula price being less than the target price of $2.2 million. And as you can see, $2.2 million is certainly, this is a scenario where it's going to be greater than the $2.112 million we've already incurred. So there's a difference, right? So if I just do some simple math here and say $2.2 million less $2,112,000, you should get, I stress, you should get $88,000. Why is that important? Well, we get half of that. Remember, it says specifically we can get half of these savings, and this is savings. So if we multiply that by one half or 50%, that's $44,000. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we should get the formula price back plus this $44,000. So if I add those two numbers together, and I know this is a math-heavy question, but it's really not too bad, you'll notice that we should have something that looks like this, $2,156,000. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what we have, $2.156 million. So let's review here, right? We had to arrive at the formula price, which is the actual cost, which was $1.92 million, plus 10%, which is $192,000. That totaled the total formula price then of $2,112,000. And then we're eligible for any amount that we charge that's under the $2.2 million. We're eligible for 50% of that cost savings. We measure the cost savings at $88,000. We get 50% of that, hence that $44,000. Add that to the formula price, and you get this $2,156,000. That is the correct answer. And just note, they throw in answer choices like $2,112,000 because you immediately do the first part of the math. Maybe you panic and you forget to do the rest. Therefore, you miss it. So you're going to miss that answer choice. If you look at the first answer choice, this is just 50% of the excess of the target price over actual cost. So that's not going to be accurate. And then the final choice is just the target price. So the $2.2 million. So again, don't fall for the distractors, if you will. And I think the primary distractor was the second choice here. But again, if you got to the first choice, that too is a distractor. So again, the answer with all the math involved, $2,156,000. That's how much Breyer should receive from the contract.